Honored to welcome you to our first ever Mclean High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction. This is an extraordinary group of individuals and team members who did great things at Mclean. We're excited to honor them. We need to remember them, and that's why we're here tonight. Our first two inductees unfortunately could not be with us tonight, and we will honor them at a future date, but we will mention them. Marcia McDermott of the class of 1983 and Eric Dorsey from the class of 1982. Marcia is currently on assignment as an assistant coach with the U.S. women's national team of women's soccer, and Eric is enjoying the birth of his second child. You can read more about them in your Hall of Fame program or inside the school where their plaques will be hung. And now to the inductees. First, a very special team. For the first 30 years of its existence, Mclean High School went without a single Virginia State Championship team in any sport. But thanks to a special group led by a Mclean High School alum and Hall of Fame coach, the 1986 field hockey team resoundingly put that drought to bed with the school's first ever state championship. Led by All-Met goalie Mary Cheney and All-Met captain Jennifer Wilson, the Highlanders defeated Albemarle 2-1 to capture the state title in Charlottesville. Along the way, the team captured the Northern Region Championship against Langley in a dramatic shootout on a Friday afternoon in front of a packed house at Langley. Let's first meet the co-coaches who led this wonderful team. A Mclean alum from the class of 1979, she came back to Mclean to teach and coach, Marcia Brinkley Ursum. And her co-coach, Denby Hellwig Banbury. Let's meet the players and managers from this wonderful team. Aaron Larson, Beth Harvey, Marianne Prosser, Mary Cheney, Ellen Cantor, Carol Ricker, who also holds the school record in shot put and discus, still holds the school record, and manager Heather Cannon. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1986 state champion Highlander field hockey team and the first team inducted into the Mclean High School Athletic Hall of Fame. It would not be right to have a Hall of Fame at Mclean High School without honoring those in this wonderful community who have made significant contributions for so many years. Our first inductee is the epitome of community contributor and why he will be inducted as the first such into the Hall of Fame. For nearly 30 years, he was a huge part of athletic operations at Mclean, all voluntarily. For nearly 30 years, he was the official scorekeeper at basketball games, boys basketball games, both road and home, working over 600 games for 8 head coaches. Along the way, he also served as crew chief for the chain gang at football games each week for all 3 levels of play. That's Thursday nights and Friday nights here at Mclean High School, a career spanning over 350 football games. He's worked under 6 head football coaches at Mclean High School, and all told, he's worked over 1,000 sporting contests in over 30 years at Mclean High School. A tremendous example of selfless service to Mclean High School. We are so honored to welcome him to the Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Warren Harvey. You got it, buddy. A pioneer here at Mclean, this next Hall of Famer was an assistant football, baseball, and basketball coach when the school opened in 1955. Then returned later as head football coach and eventually was our athletic director for 15 years. Overall, he spent 21 years here at Mclean High School. He oversaw tremendous growth and progress at Mclean and in the sports programs here. In addition to his success at Mclean, Roger also started the football program at Marshall, won a district title in Washington Lee High School in Arlington, came back here to Mclean in 1969, and in his first year as head coach, the Highlanders won the Great Falls District Championship. In the 1970s, Mclean was where coaches and teachers wanted to be. This was the place to be, and it was a big part. He was the big reason why, because of his leadership and vision for Mclean High School athletics. We're so glad to have him here tonight. Let's welcome to the Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Roger Cole. Good job, guys. Another pioneer, this next Hall of Famer was at Mclean for 30 years, from 1956 to 1986, leading the field hockey, softball, and girls basketball programs. She won 167 games as field hockey coach with 10 district championships, 2 region titles, and a state runner-up in 1982. She won 127 games and 5 district titles in girls basketball, and she started the softball program here at Mclean. She's one of the greatest athletes in the history of Falls Church High School, and she went on to star at James Madison University, where she's in the JMU Athletic Hall of Fame. In addition, she's also a 1991 inductee into the Greater Washington Softball Fast Pitch Hall of Fame. She's one of the winningest coaches in the history of Mclean High School, and we're so glad to have her back tonight. Let's welcome her to the Hall of Fame, Mary Lou Carroll. Another pioneer here at Mclean, a teacher, coach, and administrator from 1967 to 1989. This next Hall of Famer did great things for girls sports at Mclean. She led innovative fundraising efforts for girls programs to pay for new uniforms and equipment, helped build the first snack bar in the football stadium, nail by nail, with Hall of Famer Warren Harvey, and was the key to starting girls sports programs in tennis, track, and gymnastics. She organized the first ever Coaches Association in Northern Region, a longtime field hockey, basketball, and softball coach, coaching countless games alongside Mary Lou Carroll. She served as the athletic director for all girls sports, which made huge progress thanks to her leadership and guidance. We welcome her to the Hall of Fame, Miss Cricket Call. She made her mark both as an athlete and a coach, and you've already met her once tonight. In fact, she's the first coach in Mclean school history to win a state title, leading the 1986 field hockey team to that title. She was named the Washington Post Field Hockey Co-Coach of the Year in 1986, along with her co-coach Denby Helwig, and her team won the Northern Region Sportsmanship Award in 1997. She coached the field hockey team from 1986 to 1997, racking up 132 wins overall. She has over 200 wins as a field hockey coach, with additional head coaching stops at Oakton, and unfortunately she currently is the head coach at Madison, but we'll forgive her for that. At Mclean, she won 5 district championships, 2 region titles, and of course, the 1986 state championship. Let's welcome back once again one of the most successful coaches in Mclean High School history, Hall of Famer Coach Marcia Ursum. This next Hall of Famer is the winningest coach in the history of Mclean High School. He built from scratch one of the area's most successful boys soccer programs ever. From 1974 to 2000, 27 seasons, he racked up 332 wins, good enough for 3rd all-time in the entire state of Virginia. He won 10 district titles, 2 regional titles, and a state runner-up. He's a state champion wrestler at Fairfax High School and is in the Rebels Sports Hall of Fame, and he was an All-American wrestler at East Stroudsburg University. In addition, his influence at Mclean resulted in an annual sportsmanship award given in his name each year to a Mclean athlete. Let's welcome to the Hall of Fame, the winningest coach in the Mclean High School history, Ted Pease. This next Hall of Famer is the most successful female track athlete in the history of Mclean High School. Successful female track athlete in the history of Mclean High School. In fact, she's the only state champion in any track event female at Mclean High School, capturing the Virginia State Long Jump Championship in 1983. In addition, she also won the prestigious Penn Relays in 1983 and went on to compete for the University of Virginia, where she helped the Cavaliers win an indoor track title, ACC track title, in 1984. She also has the school record for the long jump as well as the 100-meter dash, and those 2 records still stand today after 28 years. We're so glad she could come all the way back with her family from Dallas. Let's welcome back to the Hall of Fame, the most dominant female track athlete in school history, 1983 grad, Ellen Fox. Ellen Fox DeBrow. You would be hard-pressed to find an athlete who enjoyed more individual and team success in his career at McLean than this next inductee. A three-sport standout, he excelled in football, wrestling, and baseball. Two-time state wrestling champion, receiving all-Met honors. Northern Region Wrestler of the Year. In baseball, he helped his team win a district championship, its first since the 1960s in 1993. He was a two-way football star, and in 1992, he led the Highlanders to an 8-4 record and the first ever playoff win in school history. He was a three-time All-District selection, All-Region, and honorable mention All-Met, and he was also the Defensive Player of the Year. As a senior, he was also the best fullback in the region. A two-time Athlete of the Year at McLean, he won the Craig Fielder Award, given to athletes with 9 or more varsity letters, and he was a 35-0 senior wrestler with 29 pins. The first of 5 brothers to star here. He also had an uncle, and his father also were baseball stars here at Mclean High School in the 1970s. And look out, folks, he's got 5 kids, and they're all coming to McLean. Let's welcome him back, the Manster from the class of 1993, Jason Johnson. This next Hall of Famer is one of the winningest pitchers in the history of Mclean High School, and one of the all-time great pitchers at the University of Virginia. He was a key member of the 1996 Olympic team, which won the bronze medal. And in that same year, he was a first-round draft pick of the Detroit Tigers, where he pitched in the major leagues for parts of 3 seasons. He also pitched in the major leagues for the Twins and Atlanta Braves. He led McLean to the 1993 Great Falls District title. He was an All-Met pitcher, and he's still pitching professionally overseas in Tokyo. Unfortunately, he's still with his team in Tokyo. Their season just ended. But let's welcome his parents, Jeannie and George Greisinger, as we welcome their son from the class of 1993, Seth Greisinger. Our next Hall of Famer is one of only 2 wrestlers in McLean High School history to win 2 state championships. You just met one. Let's meet the other. He won state titles in 1970 and 71, and in both years he helped the Highlanders to runners-up in the state wrestling tournament. He's one of the most dominant, accomplished wrestlers in the history of McLean High School. He's been a long-time assistant coach with the Highlander wrestling program, and he helped to start youth wrestling here in McLean, and he still coaches here today. He lives in the area, and he still serves as a local coach, and we're glad to have him here tonight. Let's welcome to the Hall of Fame from the class of 1971, Ed Ryan. This next Hall of Famer's got some serious jewelry. How about 4 rings? 4 championship rings. But more about that in a second. One of the most natural athletes ever at McLean with an unbelievable vertical leap. This next Highlander dominated on the soccer field and was next to unstoppable on the basketball court. He led McLean to a soccer district title and a region Final Four appearance and was one of the area's top goal scorers. An All-Met selection, he went on to play at the University of Virginia, where he won NCAA titles in all 4 years in college. 4 years, 4 NCAA championships. He was a member of the U.S. national team and was featured in Sports Illustrated while he was a star at the University of Virginia. Let's welcome him back all the way from Seattle, from the class of 1991, the great Nate Friends. And a great teammate. Our last Hall of Fame inductee of the night represents everything you would ask for in an athlete. Friend, brother, and son. Courage, competitive spirit, drive, determination, loyalty, and Ironman qualities. Those who watched him perform on the field or battle life's adversities know that there is no Hall of Fame at McLean High School without Craig Fielder. A track, football, basketball, and soccer standout, he is one of the best all-around athletes to ever play at McLean. He was so impressive that Mclean has an award named after him for any Mclean High School athlete who has 9 varsity letters. He wreaked havoc on both sides in football, earning All-State and All-Men honors as a defensive back. He was an All-District goalie, and he started 2 years on the basketball team. He also has the high jump record here at Mclean that still stands. He was an exceptional athlete who went on to play football at the University of Virginia. Unfortunately, Craig was stricken with cancer while he was in Charlottesville, but he dealt with his adversity head on and eventually recovered enough to earn a varsity letter in 1986, appearing in all 11 games after missing the 1985 season dealing with his illness. Unfortunately, he would again have to battle the disease, and following nearly 3 years of fighting it head on, Craig passed away while staying at the team hotel with his University of Virginia football teammates, preparing for a road game at the University of South Carolina in October 1987. Not only is he always remembered here at Mclean, but also at the University of Virginia, where they also honor him. The Craig Fielder Memorial Award, given to the University of Virginia athlete who best overcomes adversity. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so pleased to have members of Craig's family here tonight to accept induction on his behalf. Would you please rise and welcome, all the way from Georgia, Craig's father, Bill Fielder, sister Jill Fielder Brown, and son-in-law Ross Brown, here tonight to honor their son and brother, the great Hall of Famer from the class of 1984, Craig Fielder. What a group, an unbelievable group of individual team members, the most accomplished in the 56-year history of Mclean High School. One more time, let's have one more show of appreciation for this wonderful class of Hall of Famers. Their plaques will forever be adorned on the walls of Mclean High School. We will not forget them. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and hey, let's go beat Langley!